Yes, family greetings, love and light energies. Give thanks to life, give thanks to the source. So, the day I got a reason about this version named Zechariah Sitchin, And it's very important for we know about people. And we don't normally take up them thing upon my head to come try explain who a person is, but me see it of importance where even if you not take what me say, you can go do your further research about him, see me, because it is important, family. Just like how you take this translation from King James about Bible. You still have to research who is King James. You gotta just take something from him. So what is it? What is his characteristics? We have to know all of these things because everything is important. Now this is a little article I book up with somebody I write about the great Zechariah Sitchin. So I'm gonna share today with them. Now, Zechariah Sitchin was an Asian astronaut theorist who, along with Eric van Daniken, was one of the greatest popularizers of the theory. He was born on July 20th, 1920, in Buko, in the territory of Azerbaijan, when it was linked to the former Soviet Union, present-day Russia, as you know. His family migrated to Palestine in the region that would later become Israel. So even that is a little idea, and if you never did know, say parts of Israel right now, you see them are fighting and kill off the Palestine them. You saw this history I say? It was part of Palestine before Israel take it over. Right? There he worked as an editor and journalist after obtaining a degree in economic history from the University of London. So I see this man as I done said. Plus, where you hear Bible story come from the most more than Israel and all these places. So who better forgive me an idea about things? Eh? You wanna come from the region, or you will come from the region. Not even King James did come from that region there. And as I say, he's a very bright scholar, as you can see. Can have him getting big degree, economic in history from the University of London. Right? He learned Hebrew and by interest studied other Semitic languages. As a Jew, Sitchin studied the sacred scriptures deeply and sought their origins and connections with ancient people. But Sitchin smelled a rat. For him, the meaning of the scriptures was not just the rabbis, as what they had said. He knew that fanaticism and faith could blind. His notion of this started when he was a child and he questioned the teacher about the real meaning of the word Nephilim, which appeared in the scriptures. And his teacher scolded him, saying that the Bible could not be questioned in any way. This prompted Sitchin to question himself more and more about the Holy Scriptures. It was with this interest that he studied about other peoples of the Middle East, such as the Akkadians, the Babylonians, and the Hittites. He discovered that they had far more historical connections, right? And they discovered the mythological connections of these people and realized that everything pointed. Okay, so he discovered the mythological connections of these people and realized that everything pointed to a single origin in Sumer. From then on, he visited archaeological sites to see for himself the artifacts, monuments, and ancient inscriptions. They said he moved to New York in 1952, where he started to work in a shipping company. He learned Sumerian language by himself and studied ancient Mesopotamian texts, right? Through publications by translators such as George Smith and Samuel Noah Kramer. So what am I saying now? I'm going to just read and then we reason. In his spare time, he visited several archaeological sites in the Middle East and museums around the world, doing his research and studies. Influenced by the research of Immanuel Velikovsky, theories of the paleocontact theory, Zachariah became convinced that there was indeed an extraterrestrial intervention in human history. After 30 years of research and studies, he developed his own theory and published in his first book, The 12th Planet, in 1976. Sitchin hypothesis is an aspect of the ancient astronaut theory and says in short that extraterrestrials not only visited our planet and influenced history, they also intervened genetically in human DNA over time. And more theoretically, they would have created us, so to speak. He brings to the table the historical, culture, and mythological connections of various ancient people and explain that everything pointed to the first civilization of humanity, that of the Sumerian people. So if you don't believe him, so go find out about everybody else. As the main basis, he used the ancient Mesopotamia text. He used historical and archaeological information and presented his theory, developing a genius way. Alright. For Sitchin, all the gods in the world were actually facets of the same Sumerian god, who in turn were actually extraterrestrials. The Anunnaki, or in the biblical term Nephilim, were aliens, and the world of these beings would be, according to his interpretation, Nibiru, the 10th planet of our solar system. Since Pluto, the 9th, was still considered a planet, it would be the 10th planet. But in Sumerian count, it would be the 12th celestial body, which would include our sun and the moon. So the book titled The 12th Planet now actually a mess of the publisher who wanted is actually a message of the publisher who wanted to be the title. No, the 12th Planet is actually a mess of the publisher who wanted this to be the title, even though Zechariah Sitchin insisted that it shouldn't, okay? His book sold well at the time and became bestsellers, but initially they did not sell as much, nor were very popular as Eric Van Daniken's Chariots of the Gods. That is another book me I try to get hold of. Even though I'm talking thing, I'm kind of fully understand everything, see me upon a level, because I don't have it in my family. I don't show me a reason, Although the 12th planet was of even more magnificent work, Zechariah obviously drew criticism from religious for using the Holy Scriptures and blaspheming them, but he was also supported by some religious leaders. In 1980, he published the book Stairway to Heaven, and in 1985, The Wars of the Gods and Men. But his greatest recognition was his first book. Obviously, Sitchin's work had been criticized by historians and academics, and his theory had been called pseudoscience, based on pseudo-history and pseudo-archaeology, terms created by supposed scholars who cannot explain anything and therefore try to ridicule the theory. And plus, them I work for the Freemasons and the Illuminati, so for them things I have to hold long and keep long secret. In 1990, he published Genesis Revisited, which I consider one of his best books, right? In the book, he updates his work and his new scientific information to corroborate his theory, bringing with it more scientists to criticize his work. In the same year, he published The Lost Realms, about the influence of aliens on peoples of the Americas. Sitchin started to live off his books and participated in interviews and radio programs, published articles in recognized newspapers, and gave several lectures while continuing to travel the world and doing research. He published other books and made expeditions with groups of his readers, alright? Around the world. Needing a book in the more common language, Sitchin gathered almost everything about his work in a mastery way in the last book of Enki, published in 2001, which he organized in a way accessible to any reader. 2001 on the right. It's when them book you come out though after the 9/11 foolishness. Come calm back down with spirit. And it was this book that the popularity of his work grew in an essential way. He published far more books after that and died on October 9th, 2010. He had not yet finished his fiction book, The King Who Refused to Die, which was edited and published in 2013 by his niece, Janet Sitchin. In 2016, by Janet Sitchin, right? All right, full stop. In 2016, Janet published a book, The Anunnaki Chronicles, which brought together all the Zechariah articles, including some that has not been published previously. So then also those who discredited Sitchin's theory generally talk about the various critics and academics, historians, etc., who are against Zechariah Sitchin. However, most do not realize the real situation. Historians criticize Sitchin, it is true, but everyone forget that historians are trapped in a bubble of their conventional version of history, and literally anything that is presented as a new alternative point on history can hurt their conventional view about it. It is ridiculed and denied. But let's look at a case briefly. Until recently, it was considered that some cities mentioned in the Bible, for example, never existed. However, in the past 2 centuries, the city of Urim, the biblical Ur, Abraham's hometown, has been unearthed by archaeologists and proved to exist. It was also founded by Austin Henry Layard, the city of Kasua, Kasuh, which in the Bible was known as Nineveh, Nineveh, yeah. The biblical Shinar kingdom. The biblical Shinar kingdom was thought to be a fictional until the Sumer cities and buildings were discovered. You see all them things there? I mean, I tell you. So, that is the existence of these cities and the Sumerian kingdom itself has become a historical fact. And countless other times, historians fought tooth and nail to defend their undeniable historical facts. But sooner or later, history has been proved completely wrong. Therefore, historians do not have the power to know with absolute certainty that Sitchin is wrong. And maybe in 2 centuries or even 1,000 years from now, Sitchin's theory will prove to be correct, and then history will be wrong. And these historians who ridicule Sitchin today will be ridiculed and will be considered wrong in future history books. So even if 1,000 historians say before me that Sitchin is wrong, I say that he is right. But unlike historians who believe that they have omniscience and therefore know everything, the future and the past, and therefore can categorically state that someone is wrong in proposing a theory, an alternative view of history, I have the notion that I may be wrong and that Sitchin may be wrong, but that doesn't negate the possibility that we are both correct. Therefore, all the criticism of historians to the work of Sitchin are considered invalid. Listen now. Critics with the support of linguists also testify that Sitchin mistranslated the Mesopotamian text. To start with, a mistake is already instantly that he translated, because in no time he translated any text. Listen, Sitchin just took the translations that were already available in his time from several translators and compared and analyzed them, and then sifted through these translations and chose the form of text with the translations he found more consistent. Therefore, if you want to criticize the translation of the text in Zechariah Sitchin's book, criticize the translators such as Samuel Noah Kramer, right, who is Sitchin's greatest source of his text translation, but apparently they don't want to criticize these linguistics since they are part of their secret societies. Samuel Noah Kramer, born 1897, died 1990, was a Assyriologist and one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Sumeriologist of the last century. An award winner recognized by the academic community and respected by historians, Orientals, and linguistics. He was born in the region which is now Ukraine, and when he moved to the USA, he accumulated academic backgrounds and specialized in Semitic languages. He became a great translator of the texts from ancient Mesopotamia and also historian focused on Sumer. He published several books, articles, and single translations in newspapers and magazines. Samuel was a renowned translator, and his books are excellent, and it was mainly in his translation, in the information about Sumer in his books, that Sitchin relied. We're not talking about text translations, but about some specific words, Sitchin also used existing translations. Although in some cases he made his alternative interpretation of the words, as in case of the word Anunnaki, right? As we have already seen, this is interpretation was correct and that linguistics are mistaken. It is almost useless to talk about scientists who criticize Zechariah Sitchin. We all know that some scientists' hypotheses sooner or later prove to be incorrect. But scientists are another group that live in a bubble and think that they are the omniscient and owners of the truth. They only believe in possibilities. And when they are their possibilities, when anyone else outside their bubble presents a new possibility, they ridicule and deny the possibility. Academic scientists and historians, but mainly scientists, are mostly ignorant. In the academic environment, there are numerous published articles in which the scientists address a certain subject or propose a hypothesis. So far, so good, but in many of them, these scientists are unable to present their idea without, without belittling and ridiculing of another. How to trust academics and the scientist community itself if they themselves ridicule and attack each other? Or to respect them if they only accept the possibilities and hypotheses that they are convenient only for themselves, or only when they themselves propose them. The scientific community is a dictatorship of theories, in which any new proposal is wrong, and only their proposals can be right. And when critics fail to attack the theory, they attack the theorists, right? And it must say about AD hominem is the biggest ignorance in the universe and the biggest childish that exists in adults. Hominem, hominem, hominem. Anyway, this is a great article, and as of the brethren a state, or probably his sister in see, I'm not really see no name. The person I try to show, this writer I try to show you, say, look, don't criticize Zechariah Sitchin, because him get film translation from a more profound and acknowledged by the society translator. So if you're gonna feel say Zechariah Sitchin translation wrong, he might try to show you say it cannot be wrong, because his translation was based off of works by a most acclaimed translator. So if your translator come up with a, say for instance, a Sumerian dictionary, the scholar come up with a thing named Sumerian dictionary, see? And it pass and vertebra to be good. And him get him awards and him get him all him thing and him big up for it. If you use a same Sumerian dictionary then now and do your translation, how you gonna tell the person say, film translation wrong what him do from the Sumerian tablets? Truth a speak truth, I don't know why the truth come out. But at the same time, the dictionary where him use as a method of translating, it alright. That is crazy. That is so crazy. Now, as I hear them mention about the whole ridicule and all them things that were going on, we don't know how them behave. You understand? We don't know how them behave. And if you not say Adam and Eve was white, and if you not say I want snake come tell them so to eat apple and all these story, you look like a fool. You can imagine that if you say you not see Adam and Eve as being as how them presented to you and the whole story, you can look on as a fool. So, these are the whole criteria where them set up family. Them set up, just as I mentioned even about the Bible. Bible start work on from 1604. Finish and published by 1611. And then by 1612, you lock with the archives them, where the original translation come from, and I go tell the man say, you have to be of high standard, or that is not in the word, stature. If you can enter in the Vatican archives to go read anything. And you can't just get any or anything same way. It all depends on your standard of who you is. Or your stature, as well me say. I saw them work, family. So we have to understand, say, there are secrets will exist in these secret societies, because them name secret societies for that. And this Illuminati come and hide all these truths. Now, I tell you about when the Knights Templar them start traveling them to the Middle East now, you know, when them start coming to the eastern part and them place now, you know. In the Middle East and so, you know, them start book up on them original knowledge and now, you know. And when them book up on them original knowledge and now, them say, but wait. But where for we look at Virgin and tell you down a Catholic there. This a Catholic here. Nothing no go so. See the real story. Adam and Eve story no go so. Lucifer wasn't a snake. Lucifer was a man named Enki. Lord Enki. We advance us. And I eat them a talk about snake and this and that. The man them find out all of that and I saw you find now the Knights Templar rise. As this Virgin show you now, it feel like a vibration about himself. Now you see, them must say them man migrate from one place where they link some territory in a face for Russia. And they must say migrate from this to Palestine. The era where him did migrate to the name Palestine. The Israelites push them back from this and this and now become Israel. That I mean. We must say in this the region that will later become Israel. See? Editor and journalist, him have a degree in economic history from University of London. Right? Him studied Hebrew and interest studied other Semitic languages. Them by my Jew, you know, so them have access. If you notice, me do a video about reincarnation in my state and me not really call them name, but me show them picture. When me I talk about having knowledge about things. The same Jew them have knowledge about reincarnation and all these things, you know. But them keep it from you. So even him as a Jew, them same study the sacred scriptures. You understand? So if you see so this burden I go deep. So we have to try to give him theme vibration for that, you know. They must say him study other people of the Middle East, such as the Akkadians, the Babylonians, and the Hittites, and him find out say everything connect to the Sumerians them. Now, how you know we sit down at your yard and not go do no research and not go nowhere? You don't know about no Palestine unless you see it on TV and Israel or nowhere. You don't go to no museum, go look for nothing. You don't go to no archaeological site, go look for nothing. And a man will do all of that. And when him put him work together, you are going to try to look on him work as being non-void. You know, since everything I fulfill, look how long the man them have this UFO thing. I hide from the past over 70 odd years. Them have this UFO knowledge are hidden away from you. I know them just decide to tell you. No, them just decide to pinch you and show and say, you know, it look like say Ray. And we are going to just work with them and work with them. It cannot be like that, family. You have to have a mind of your own. Now, as I say, I don't know Zechariah Sitchin from Adam, but, you know, where what is due to Caesar, give Caesar. What is due to Zechariah Sitchin, give it to him. They must say in 52, he moved to USA, seeing? And you know, within them time, that one whole shift, one at them time, you know, from 47 come down, you know. And so in the 50s that China make for them shift too, you know. And they must say, I work on a shipping company and him learn by himself Sumerian and ancient Mesopotamian texts through publications by translators such as George Smith and Samuel Noah Kramer. So it them even as I tell you, say these ones when get film translation from and put together and other researchers as we talk about Emmanuel Velikovsky, right? Theorists of the paleo contact theory. See, so you have them little big man now within a secret society. We are talk about this and them. You hear the thing where I go, family. You have them big man now we find out the knowledge, you know. You have to study and find out a thing, you know, for then you debunk it, you know. If you not find out, you're not gonna know what to debunk it, you know. Something will slip you. So you have these guys now, we are form part of the secret society, this Illuminati and Freemason now, where them have all this knowledge, but them keep it to themselves and amongst them peers. When you come now outside now, like we see this version come with this book now, where even the last book of Enkia, the last book of Enkia, as I tell you from it, have all of the main biblical stories them, what we affiliated with. And you have to see the true story. So you're going to tell me, you know, say, boy, you prefer this Roman, this wicked Roman vibration and this cruel man will write demonology book, will translate Bible give we. You're going to tell me, say, boy, no more believe in them man than Zechariah Sitchin, you know, where you see to be a good soul. And I like say, you go guess and spell. You see it already in a film characteristic, say it's a good soul. So, it's just funny and family, and that's what they hear them say. And that's what they hear them know. Even in the movies, they hear them see it. When them want to hold on certain things, seeing, they ridicule you. And them, look on with Nikola Tesla, perfect example. Look how great Nikola Tesla is. Look on the mind of Nikola Tesla. Why you think them fight against Nikola Tesla? Yes, when them use Nikola Tesla, them tell Nikola Tesla in a 43, even before that, you don't know 43, the Philadelphia experiment one. Einstein don't know nothing that much as Nikola Tesla. And when them use Nikola Tesla and say, them want to develop something where can make the ship go invisible to radar. Listen, go do your research, Philadelphia experiment. When Nikola Tesla find out what them really are dealing with, say time and space, them want to ramp with, Nikola Tesla back out of it. But them did already get him work about this. Remember him can develop this current, this electricity vibration, these electric towers and all of them things. Them have them knowledge there, you know. So them use him, but when him find out what them really up to, him back out. And that's why them not like him in the family. If you understand that, you know, Nikola Tesla dead in our hotel the man used to there, you know. At work, you know. When they look on the inventions of the man have, even things of the same people, them these little demons have a use right now today. And Nikola Tesla inventions. It come like what the brethren Eric Van Daniken said to me, I'm saying our presentation we make, and I tell you say the description of where Ezekiel give about this wheel within a wheel and the whole description about how wheel and move and wait and move sideways and move this way. Did you know that is the actual thing? Ezekiel wheel in a wheel, NASA patent it. Let me just say it like that and done. NASA patent the whole description, they have the wheel within a wheel. And like them use and make things offer. Where them can put on them place if you crawl up and down. Where you got to call them right now. Where them go land them thing up on the planet and them a crawl up and down and I take picture and video. NASA build that off based off of the biblical story about Ezekiel. So we don't know what go on. So we just try to show and say, we just do this little thing for try to show and say, look people, don't be quick to ridicule people. Because it'll come like say, if Obama did come and talk about them things and I'm more accept it. That is the vibration that we don't have. It's like a certain special type of people who can take information from. And I just now get checked and I get lead in the dungeon or in the pit. Because when Obama call on and tell them say this way and Joe Biden and Queen Elizabeth and all the wickedest people in the world. When you see them a calling about come this way, I wanna run, go like in a crowd and in a droves, like on a idiot. And I know say a trick. And when the simple man over there, so the Rasta man a call and say, come, wanna fan him off. Because now go see no material world around him, you know? So I just really something like that, family. In everything we have to just research everything. Because like now, as how me come and buck up on them information, you know. Remember, you know. And me, someone want to know who is Zechariah Sitchin, you know. Me not just want where me want come find out. No matter about all the other books of this virgin I write as I read and tell you. Seeing? Well acclaimed books. You have to remember, you know, family, you have a little underworld set of people, you know, where are some intellects too, you know, mostly white people too. Like we have them TED Talks type of program. You have some people who go functions where all them money come talk, you know. And when you look in a crowd and if you go outside, go look in a parking lot, upon the type vehicle them, you have an idea the type people them, where they inside. Where they look at normal black man and white man there. Party, club, racetrack, gambling house, woman yard, whorehouse. Anything else where for edify him and eat him depend. So we have to understand all of this knowledge, family. You can't criticize what you don't know about. That's why knowledge is important. And as always, me always influence the them to do no one personal research about anything. So, we just big up this virgin of Zechariah Sitchin and give thanks to him work. To the grace and the power of the Most High, it was made available so we can know truth. And why it fascinates me, if they had them notice from even my first channel before them take it down when me I get theory about Bible. And me tell you say, the Bible, for we, the Bible is not something for your dash way, because that's the trick. You're going to say, boy, this confusing and show it way. You understand what I deal with? When truth lie within it. There's no other rule book where y'all get hold of. You understand what I say? So we have to understand all of these things, family. And then now, if you're going to take everything, I told you them set up the Bible, you know, it's either you say, boy, you can't understand this, it don't make no sense. And put it down. Or you follow it for what it is. And become, you know, I not even want to say the worst of things, but you become attached to these teachings that is like nothing else are going to be of great importance to you. And there's knowledge. Why? Because them play upon us. Them know say within us as human being, we have spirituality within us. And we love to pursue it, a part of we thing, just like drinking water, just like breathing oxygen. So what do you think them do? Them genetically engineer the thing, reverse engineer it. Like what them do every other else thing. We have to know that. As always, we have to just do our own research and give thanks, love and light energies. Rastafari.